Hello everyone, welcome to Winged Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do our 9th and final set of alternatives for the May 2025 paper pumpkin kit called Mountain Majesties. Here are the 9 cards that you could have done if you had done them as intended, but we don't do things like around here like intended, so we're going to do some alternates today. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with an easy one first. Not that either one of them are hard, but this is the easier of the two. I've got a piece of basic gray that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give that a good burnish here, so make sure it lays flat. Got a piece of white that's 5 by 4 1/4 that we're going to put on the inside. And then I took half of one of the card bases and I cut it into thirds. So we're going to put it back together here on the front of our card. So let's see, I think it went something like this. So we're going to go ahead and put these 3 down. I'm actually going to start with the edge pieces. I'm going to open that up for a minute. So we're going to put some seal on these. And I'm not going to push down very hard. I want to make sure we get the spacing all right before we actually put it down for good. So we're going to get that one on there. And then I'm going to do this other edge, and then we'll do the middle one. That way we know we'll have our edge spacing correct. And if we need to, we can adjust it. So let's get this one down. Okay, so far we're looking pretty good. Let's see if we can get the middle one in. Oh, look, I have a stray gem. Okay, I'm going to save that for later. We might just use that. Okay. We have a hitchhiker. We have a hitchhiking gem. Okay, so see, I don't have enough room in the middle, so I'm going to push this one over more to the left-hand side. And then, not quite that far. So maybe about there. And we'll slide that one over just a bit, and then we can get this one in. I don't want a lot of room between the pieces, but I want some little sliver of gray to show through the pieces. That's what's going to give it its interest, right? Okay, now let's get this edge piece on. Well, wait a minute. This one's not straight. We need to straighten this one up at the bottom. Oh my goodness, here we go. Okay, so let's straighten that one up at the bottom. Okay, now we'll get our third piece on here, and then we can put them all down permanent-like. Alright, we're going to move this one up just a tad bit so that it's even at the top with the rest of them. Let's see. I still think this one needs to come over just the littlest bit. There we go. Now we're cooking. Okay, so there's that. Now, I've got just one of the tags that came. I think this was in last month's kit, actually, but it works for what we need here. We're going to stamp with the stamp. One of the stamps that came in the kit says, "You're the greatest." We're going to use Misty Moonlight ink. And we're just going to stamp on here on our little sentiment piece. Let's make sure we got it good and inked up. Boy, it looks like I need to clean my glass mat. And it's got some sticky on it there. Okay, so we'll get this down right in the middle. There we go. You're the greatest. We're going to put that on here, up on some dimensionals. On the inside, we're going to put Happy Birthday, which also came in the kit. You guys know I'm obsessed with this happy birthday stamp lately, just because I really like the font of the birthday. So we're going to put this down. There we go. Okay. Put the ink away for a minute. We'll get it back out in a second, but we're going to put it away for now so I don't end up with ink everywhere. We'll get this inside piece put in. So we'll just center this up here. Get that put down there. Okay, now we're going to put this up on dimensionals. So I'll bring out our dimensionals. We'll just use a couple here since this piece isn't all that big. Take our backs off. Make sure we can't see our dimensionals. Looks good. Now, I think I'm going to put it just right, something like this. Looks pretty good. Okay, we're going to put some of these antique pearls on the front of this. So we're going to do a big one. Let's see, let's put it here. And we'll do, this one has 3 sizes. I like the 3 sizes. We'll do medium ones. So we'll put that one here and another medium one over here. Okay, so that was quick, pretty quick for this card. So there's our card. Okay, we're going to move on to card 2. Now this one has a little has more pieces to it. So we're going to start with a card base of Misty Moonlight that's 8.5 by 5.5. And we're going to score. There's 2 scores at 2 1/8 inch on each side. So I scored on this side, and then I flipped it around and scored this way. So we're going to give these nice good burnish so this lays flat, or as flat as it's going to lay when this card opens. But in a minute, we'll have something that keeps it shut. So just hang on. I got a white piece, 5 by 4 1/4. I've got a couple of these pieces, so this is vellum. This was just one of the punch outs. We're going to actually put these today on the inside of our card. And then I've got, let's see, this. Oh, we're going to stamp on that one. And I've got a couple of pieces here. These were part of one of the envelopes. So I cut these down to, let's see, they are looks like about 2 1/8 by 5 1/4. And we're going to put these just on the outside of our card. So we're going to start here by putting these 2 pieces down. So let's get seal on this. And we're just going to center this on this flap. Let's see. I'm going to scoot that over just a tad bit. You have to be careful with this envelope paper because it is much thinner than cardstock. So it doesn't take near the abuse that cardstock can take. So if you're trying to move it around, just be kind of a little careful with it. You don't want to rip it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. We'll put that one there. We'll get this one on the other side. I'm going to turn it this way. We'll get this piece down. Okay, just move our bottom one a little bit that way. Okay, so we've got that. Now, so now we've got that. Now, next thing we're going to do, I've got a little piece of white here that is actually 1.5 by 2. And we're going to put that, actually I think I'm going to put it down here at the bottom. And we've got this little sentiment piece that came in the kit. It says, "Thank you for being the person you are." And we're going to put that in the middle of this. So we will go ahead and put this flat onto the white piece. But then I think I'll pop the white piece up. So we're going to give it a little bit of dimension. So we've got that piece. Now, let's go ahead and do our inside. So we're going to put the vellum piece down first. I'm actually going to use just a little bit of liquid glue. We did this the other day where we just put the tiniest row of glue just around the outside of this vellum piece because we don't want the glue to show through our vellum if we can help it. This is kind of a thick vellum, and obviously being colored blue does help hide the adhesive quite a bit, but we still don't want to you know, for it to show. So we're going to put this right down here at the bottom, and we are going to be able to cover some of it up with our other piece. So I did trim this piece so that it was 4 inches across. Oh my goodness, we have ink spot. Oh, how did we manage that? You know what? I'm going to turn this over. So let me put just a little bit more glue on this. Don't ask me how I got ink on that already. It's just been one of those kinds of days. Okay, so let's try again. Getting glue everywhere. Let's try again. So we'll get this put down right there. And it's okay that we got a little bit of adhesive on the other side because we are going to put it down inside of our base. It's fine. So I'm going to put this piece now just right here. I think I'm going to pop this up. So let's put some dimensionals on this. Because why not? Because we can, right? We use dimensionals because we can. I'm of the mindset that you can't use too many dimensionals. I'm sure there are people that would disagree with me, but I like, let's get this one actually on our piece. I like the interest that it gives on your cards when the different layers are of different height. Okay, so there's that piece. Now, on the inside, we're going to, once again, stamp Happy Birthday. Well, no, we're not. We're going to stamp with our other one that says you're the greatest. We're going to use that one on this one. So, oh, we have another hitchhiking. Maybe is that the same hitchhiking little dot? Okay. It's all right. We're going to leave it right there. We're going to use that in a minute. So, now, on the front, I also want to put an element. So, let's pop this up, and then we'll get to our element that we're going to put on the front that's actually going to help hold the card shut. So, now, when I first looked at this paper, this blue paper, envelope paper, to me, it screamed sky. It just looks like, you know, sky colored. So I thought, well, we need to do some kind of a scene on the front here that goes with the sky. So, let's put this right down here. Now, we're going to use, in a minute, hang on, let's get this on the inside. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get this put on the inside. Well, let's do it and then I'll stamp on it. And everybody pray for me that I don't mess the stamping up. But it's okay, we'll be fine. So, now, on the outside, we're going to use this Adventurous Sky set. And this was a retired set from last year. But I just love the airplanes that are in here. So we're going to stamp us an airplane. So I already pulled the stamp out and got it on a block. And we're going to put it on this white piece. And then there's a die that cuts the airplane out. So let's go ahead and give this a stamp. And we're going to use our Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to ink up our airplane here. And again, my favorite red rubber that we have to be careful with, but it's the red rubber that gives us such detailed stamps. So I guess you have to take one to get the other, right? Okay, I'm just going to try to make this flat on the glass, or straight on the glass mat. It's obviously flat. And we'll just stamp this down. Not a lot of pressure, trying to not rock the block. And there we go. Beautiful. Okay, we'll deal with that in a minute. Let's stamp our inside so I can put the ink away. So we'll get our piece that says you're the greatest. And we're just going to put this right here. Yay! I did get a little bit ink here, but we can take care of that. Not with that. Wrong eraser. Where's my other eraser? Oh my goodness. I haven't used it for a while. And now it's hiding. You know it's here and I just can't see it. Because I just have so much stuff on my desk. Okay, well if I could find my sand eraser, we'd get that little bit off. And I will here. I will find it. Because I promise it's right here. Oh my goodness. Where, I don't know though. Because I don't... Oh, here it is. I found it. I found it. Okay. So let's just get this little piece of ink off here that I goobered up. This sand eraser is really nice because it takes off that top layer of the cardstock, which takes away the ink spot. Okay, we're getting there. If it were on the outside, I'd just put a gem on it and then we wouldn't see it. But since it's on the inside, we are going to get rid of it. Sometimes little circles will do the trick. Okay. Just about. We've almost got it. Okay. Basically gone. Alright. So, now. Do we have all the stamping done that we need? I think we do. I'm putting the ink away. Because, you know. Don't want any more ink disasters. Now, you know. Because of the magic of television, as they say, I've already cut our little plane out. So, here's our plane. I used the die. We're going to put that right here on the front of our card. And it's going to help hold our card shut. So, we'll kind of tuck its little wheel here behind our sentiment. And that'll actually help too. So, let's do some... Do we want to put it flat or do we want to pop it up? I'm thinking we should just put it flat. Just because we don't want too much dimension. So I'm kind of just going to see. Here's a trick to know when you're trying to do a card like this. Flip your image over. And then you can kind of tell where you can put your adhesive. So basically from this wheel over, we're okay to put adhesive. But we don't need to go to the right of that. Because if we do, we will, you know, put our card, glue it shut. We don't want to do that. That would be awful after all of our hard work. So I'm just going to do that. And we'll tuck our little wheel, which should help keep this flat. Let's see, let's move it over just a tad bit. There we go. Okay. Maybe we need to burnish it a little more just to keep it flat. Or maybe it's just not going to sit flat. See if I can just move this up just a tiny bit. I'll peel this off easily. Okay. Now, I'm just going to move it up just and over just a bit, I think. Okay. Alright, so it may not lay flat until you get it inside your envelope, but in the meantime, we're going to put some clouds up here. So I did, there's some cloud dies in this same Adventurous Sky set. And I cut a couple out. So we've got our little white clouds. So I just thought we could put a couple on our, I don't know if I want them on both sides or one on each side. I think we'll do one on each side. We're going to put these flat. So we're going to put one over here. And we'll put one down here. Okay. So cute. Now, the last thing we got, we're going to use some of these antique pearls as well to put on this one. Let's see where we want to put the pearls. Let's do one here. And we'll do a medium one. If I can get it off the carrier sheet. Let's see, we'll put it down here. And we'll do one more. Maybe. Come on. It doesn't want to go. There we go. Where should we do our other one? I feel like it needs to be over here, so let's just do it like that. And there is our thank you for being the person you are, and you're the greatest. So cute. Once you get it inside an envelope, it'll lay flat. So here's our 2 cards that we did today. These are our last 2 for this set. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and ring that bell so you get notified when I upload our next video, which will be our start of our June paper pumpkin kit. So we get to leave the masculine world behind and go back to the flowers and pretty stuff. Not that these aren't pretty, but it'll be nice to go back to using the girly stuff that I don't get to use very often. So, I guess that's all I have for today. So I will see you all hopefully tomorrow, and have a crafty night. Bye.